In this episode, I explore the now shuttered Sleighton Farm School, dating back to the early 1800s. However, after financial troubles plagued the school, it was closed down in 2001. Join me as I venture inside to see what is left behind. Before the campus currently known as Sleighton existed, there was the Philadelphia House of Refuge, founded by Quakers in 1826, with the assistance from the Pennsylvania Prison Society. This was created as a system that handled juveniles differently than adults. In 1889, the Glen Mills School for Boys was founded, and the girls remained part of the Philadelphia House of Refuge. In 1906, Martha Platt Falconer, superintendent of the school, was dissatisfied with the harsh environment of the Philadelphia House of Refuge. The model of the Sleighton School was based on a more family setting, and the school began construction in 1909. The property where Sleighton is located now also has a good amount of history before the school was built. The plot of land was originally deeded to a Quaker named Henry Sleighton in the 1600s from William Penn. On the original campus side of the school, there's a farmhouse that still remains that was built by John Worrell in 1833, and also ruins of a former barn. The property was also owned by Isaac Evans, who established a mill there during the Civil War. The property of roughly 100 acres was purchased by the Evans family by the Philadelphia House of Refuge in 1906. The school opened in 1911 and was originally part of the Glen Mills Schools and known as the Glen Mills School Girls Department until it broke away in 1931 and took on the name Sleighton, named after Henry Sleighton. Properties across the street from Sleighton were also acquired or donated to Sleighton over the years, making up roughly another 250 acres. One of the properties was the George Baker property, which contains the original home and carriage house. The Bakers were well-known carpenters. The home, built in 1803, was referred to as the Little House. The carriage house, later converted to a home, was referred to as the Mary B. Lucky House. The property was owned by Margaret C. Freeborn in 1913. Another property across the street was owned by Alfred Dollington in 1875, which includes a home, barn, and tenant house. All three of these were built in the 1800s. The home was referred to as Stokes Cottage, and the barn was referred to as Stokes Barn. The tenant home was referred to as the clubhouse. This property was also owned by Margaret C. Freeborn in 1913. In 1908, Cope and Stewartson, a well-known Philadelphia architectural firm, were hired to design dormitories and accessory buildings, and they designed 9 cottages and administrative buildings. 7 of these cottages still remain. The school was built in 1909 with 9 Colonial Revival style dormitories, a Greek Revival administration building, and a small stone barn, powerhouse, and small stone cottage. Other buildings were built after this, and the centerpiece of the school was a tree-lined circular drive. In 2002, the school was determined as eligible for the National Registry of Historic Places as a historic district, but no further action followed the property. to the nomination process. In 2004, the property was planned to become a continuing care community, which would have involved many of the buildings being demolished and most of the property to be developed. The plan fell through, though. Up until now, and continuing, the property has been neglected, resulting in heavy vandalism and heavy damage from Mother Nature, though the buildings in the property are not being maintained. Two of the buildings suffered fire, the Martha Falconer Education Center in 2012 and Washington Cottage in 2014. In the light of the 397-unit Toll Brothers plan proposed in 2012, that plan has been recently terminated. This plan was terminated due to the deadlines not being met. Among the 275 acres of the current Sleighton property, 104 lay in Middletown and 171 lay in Edgemont. In Edgemont Township, 116 acres of the land are protected in an agricultural security area, hence they cannot be developed. Edgemont also requires an extra 4 acres oddly placed between the two sections of protected land not be developed as well. Currently, Elwyn Inc. is looking to rezone the land in order to follow up with development, which has apparently attracted interest from several developers. Currently, Middletown is declining to rezone their 104 acres of development land due to density issues. The current focus is on Edgemont and their 51 developable acres. No formal rezoning application has been submitted yet, but Elwyn Inc. has been presenting zoning plans to the township in public meetings, which are currently ongoing. The township seeks to preserve as much open space as possible, while Elwyn seeks to build as many units as possible. Currently, they are looking to find a plan that works best for both parties. While I did not get to explore as much as I did several years ago, I did enjoy having a look at what has changed at Sleighton. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you like this type of content, please subscribe and ring that bell. Give us a thumbs up and drop us a line in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Until next time, explorers, stay safe.